I remember going to Alexanderplatz, which is like the major area in Berlin, and there was a huge BLM movement. There were thousands of people there. And keep in mind, the African American or the African Black population in Germany is quite small compared to like say United States. And it was so refreshing to see all walks of people, all walks of life, old, young, black, white, all different types of colors, shapes, and sizes were there in solidarity for the movement. And we're not even in the United States. So it was just like, wow, I felt welcome here. Whereas in the States, obviously the BLM movement's there, but I felt like a lot of people just weren't aware of why this was happening. Versus where I feel like in Europe, they're more a bit educated on what's going on in the world, or are more willing to learn about what's going on to the world. Where I feel like a lot of Americans, particularly Caucasians, are very ignorant to the factor of what's going on, especially when it comes to race and walking in this skin.
Okay, I see. So that's interesting. So you feel like that Europeans are being a little more open to learning about race and racism than Americans. You know, that's interesting. I definitely come across, as an educator myself, as you know I am. I definitely come across a lot of barriers in teaching, especially mathematics, right? But also, I've been having conversations with people about race for 3 decades now, and I come across that same kind of resistance, right? But I've definitely noticed that it's extreme when you talk to people about race, the resistance to learn, the resistance to take in new information. So it's interesting to say that you say that it's different in Europe, because I would love to test that theory. I would love to go over there and experience that for myself. Now, I personally haven't been to Europe, so I can't say. I have met some Europeans, and obviously there's a big difference in perspective there because they come from a different kind of culture. And I find it very interesting, but I never would have guessed that that's the case. So I'm going to take your word on it since you've seen it. So, okay, cool. So basically, you were saying like Germany's not a perfect country. You know, it has its own problems with race. So what have you seen in Germany that like people may not think about in terms of their race relations?
Um, I would say, especially when you compare the racism in Germany versus America, and especially having been here for almost 4 years, the racism that I face here is, when I do face this, which is a very rare occasions, a bit more overt, I would say. I think in America, it's very systematic and very sugar coated, or it's done in a way where it's not called racism, it's called something else, you know. And here, obviously, there's ignorant people everywhere. Like, if I meet an ignorant person, I will know right off the bat if this person's like ignorant or just being plain stupid, like, or uneducated. And I think another terms when it comes to like racism, I wouldn't. It's the kind of the flip of the coin. It's kind of objectification. You're seen as being the exotic one in Europe, which has its own problems. I would say when it comes to race, those are the major things that I face. Yes, there are times that you would go on a train. I would say I probably had like 1 or 2 experiences like this. I would go on a train and somebody might clutch their purse a little bit here and there. Um, but I would say that doesn't happen quite often. I'd also say that's only coming from my experience. Other people's experiences might be different. Um, Especially the way that you are, the way that you travel, and I do have to say I live in Berlin, which is not exactly all of Germany. I would say Berlin's definitely very different from other places in Germany. So my experiences are for that city.
Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.